Hello, I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv. And we are live with you, as far as I can tell, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And it's an interesting day in New York City on the East Coast. Overcast, rainy, no sunshine. But it's sort of warm, about 50 degrees and a little bit of rain, so open the windows, let in the humidity, and start breathing again. But spring is coming, so I hope you're getting outfitted and getting your shirts, short sleeve shirts ready and putting away your sweaters because the time is coming for the big reveal. We find out just how healthy we are after huddling down in the cold and the bitter winds for the past 3 months. So here's an update about a few things that are going on. First of all, my new chair is arriving today. It says it's out for delivery on FedEx Home. And my old chair broke last week. I'm in my replacement chair, which I do not like very much because it hurts my back. I know, first world problems. But when you're sitting in a chair all day and it just hits you right in your spine, right in that area where you bend and that bone sticks out, even if you sit up straight, it's too painful. So the new chair is coming. Now, the way that they work chair deliveries, any sort of deliveries in this building, is if it's over 50 pounds, the front desk will not sign for the package. You, have to go down there in person and sign for the package, or they will not accept the package and the package is lost. Meaning that they make the carrier take it away and come back another time. Sometimes it's the next day, sometimes it's more than longer than that. So I have notified the front desk that I have a 76-pound chair arriving today. And please let me know. I will run down as fast as I can and sign for the chair. And they're not responding. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on it during the live stream. But if I get an email or a call from the front desk, the concierge, as they say, I may have to take an unexpected blood pressure break to run downstairs, get the chair, bring it back, and so on. So hang with me in case there is a chair delivery. And I have to say the chair delivery was pretty quick. 2-3 days, here, boom. That's pretty fast for a chair. And I'll have a full review as soon as possible. I hope I'm sitting all day in the new chair. I actually hope it arrives right now so I can go down and get it and start putting it together in my head while we're doing the show. As you can see, we have now integrated, Discord into the live screen you're seeing now. There's this big block of text here that maybe you find annoying and you don't like. And it is sort of annoying, and it sort of doesn't like very much. But that is Scriptly, and it is captioning everything that I speak in our Discord live stream, chat, voice server. And as you can see, the object thing is an error, and that's why we're leaving it on to see if we can get this error fixed. Now, the Scriptly people, who are very good, said, I don't think that's our problem. I think that's a Discord problem with their overlay. And I said, okay, well, so what do? Who do I contact at Discord? And I think they said that they were going to not fix it. They were going to look into it for me, which I certainly appreciate. But as you can see, we don't have a fix yet. And I don't know if we like this, which is sort of forced open captions, or if we prefer closed captions where people can turn them on and off. In some way, this is sort of good, maybe not on a small screen, but it would allow someone who needs captions to watch this and then also be in our live chat. And you can chat in our text channel on Discord as well. in addition to chatting on Twitch. So we have lots of opportunities for accessibility here. And I think it's all going to eventually work out. So you can see up here, I'm backwards here. So up here in this corner, that's everyone who is currently on our Discord channel. And when I speak, that little green thing goes around encircles my avatar, which is a cat with a microphone. So that is, and transcribing is Scriptly, you can see that. So as people join this, they can then be heard and speak that way. And what I sort of like about this that we don't have with StreamCC is that after the show is over, you can go into the text channel. And the official name of that is Bulls.tv live stream, but text. And everything I'm saying that you're seeing here, that is getting very strangely translated on screen, appears in that text channel. So if you happen to miss the show, or if you want to go back and try to see what something was said, you can go back at a later date and take a look at the text record that has been preserved on our Discord server. So that's kind of neat. Also in StreamCC, which is our regular captioning thing, if I'm interviewing people or if there's, a scene playing, it doesn't get captioned. The only thing that gets captioned is what comes through my main microphone. It's just the way it's set up to work. However, with this Discord voice thing, using Scriptly, excuse me, it's that time of morning where our neighbors are hotboxing me. Anybody who is in our chat channel, what they say also gets auto-captioned and put into our live stream text chat. So if I'm doing an interview with someone using Discord, you'll get both sides of the story and it'll be put right there in the text channel. And you can go back and read it later. I think it's just terrific. And this is the free version. I think Scriptly is rather new. They're testing it with the overall idea that one day they're going to have a premium service that maybe is faster, more accurate, translates languages. But so far, so good. I can't complain. And they're also responsive to inquiries and questions. Now, another thing that's going on is very interesting, is bots. And we've discussed this many times, but I never get tired of it because every day it changes. You have good bots and you have bad bots. And the thing is to use the good bots to defeat the bad bots. Because you really, if you're streaming or if you have a Discord server, you really can't read and manage everything that's going on, even if nobody's saying anything. It's just you can't really talk and ban people and warn people. You need help. And the big streams have real people who sit there in the streams for free, volunteers, very nice, and ban people and warn people. But if you're kind of on your own, and these big streamers also have bots, good bots who are in there helping moderation, and they are moderating other bots and people who are not behaving properly. So we had a bot problem for about 3 months on this live stream, where about 100 bots would just pop into chat and just sit there and not say anything. They wouldn't interact. They wouldn't chat. They're just there, I guess, observing. And it didn't really bother me because instead of, having 2 viewers, I had 100 viewers. But then in reading about it and speaking to Twitch, they say, you don't want bots. You probably have kids who are watching your stream and they're sending these bots over to your channel. And while it may artificially look like, you have a lot of viewers, it doesn't count. It actually hurts you in the long run. So after I was told that, I did a little bit of research and found some kind of script somewhere that you can run, command root, something like that, that then will ban all the active bots that have been hanging out on your channel. So that worked. So that knocked down all of our bots. But every day now, I get 1 or 2 new bots, and the big bots are in 50,000 live streams at once. Now I believe I've ridded ourselves of most of those bots. And now I'm just dealing with smaller bots, like they're only in 1,000 live streams instead of 50,000 live streams. And what that means is that I have to go in there and manually ban them during the show, after the show, because they're really only there during the show when you're live. When you're offline, they usually just disappear. So you can't ban them then because they're not there anymore. Now, some bots do just stick around day and night and don't ever move. They just stay on your channel, which is very weird because there's nothing going on, but they're there, listening, watching. Why? Are they collecting data, evidence? What is their purpose? So the bots can't really handle those watcher bots, but the good bots can handle bad people, people who try to say bad words, people who try to get around a ban by, creating a different personality, a different account. They can now identify them. And if people try to, we have a new NFT area in our text channel where people can go and talk about NFT art. And if you're a creator, you can post your images of your art. But we don't want any links in there because then it's all going to be links to how to purchase the art. And so our channel becomes a sales room for these people to make money off of their NFT art. That's not going to happen. But if you want to have a conversation about your artwork, and then if people are interested, they can contact you outside of our server, great. And so I get permission asked, hey, can I post my artwork in your NFT server? And I say, sure. And I tell them you can't post a link. And then what do? 5-10 minutes later, the next day, they post a link to buy their artwork. And luckily, my bots don't post the link. They take the link down. And they warn the user, you're not allowed to post links like that here. And then, of course, they never post their art because they're not interested in having a conversation. All they want to do is make money, and make money off of your stream and your watchers and your listeners. So that's been a little bit disappointing because I thought we could have a nice conversation about artwork and NFTs, and these people don't appear to want to have that. They just want access to post links to their sales sites. So that's slightly disappointing. But I suppose I'll get over it. So if you are interested in joining our live stream chat and or our live stream text channel, you have to get a hold of me anyway, some way, or just by going to join our Discord server and then sending me a note. This is the address for our Discord server. And then I have to verify you and clear you into being able to use our Discord server, live chat and live stream, in order to, I am told by other streamers, to protect the integrity of the stream. Because, like it or not, there are bad actors out there who want to come in and cause trouble and use bad words and insult people and say terrible things. And if you do that and you don't proactively do something to block it, like say, I disagree with that, or now you're banned, then I guess Twitch gets upset with you. And we don't want that. So that's why we have to have a verification process for participation in our live chat and our text chat. Because we live in a dangerous world where bad, mean people live and thrive. And we do our best to try to have a wonderful, positive experience, and there are people who are not interested. So, okay, what can we do? There's nothing we can do. Except put up the bots. The machines can do the work. The bots can do the work. And we try to move on with content and ideology. Now, here's another, just distressing sort of thing. And I don't even want to talk about this because it came up yesterday. I've been so happy. And now I am unfortunately so terribly sad. Because this news has come down from the New York Times. A second booster, which Jan and I received about a week ago, helped protect older people from Omicron infection, but waned quickly. An Israeli study says, oh boy, look out. And this is just not bad news for old people. This is bad news for everybody because these boosters don't boost you for very long. A second booster shot of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID vaccine provides additional short-term protection against Omicron infections and severe illness among older adults, according to a large new study from Israel. But the booster's effectiveness against infection, in particular, wanes after just 4 weeks and almost disappears after 8 weeks. Protection against severe illness did not ebb in the 6 weeks after the extra dose, but the follow-up period was too short to determine whether a second booster provided better long-term protection against severe disease than a single booster. Now, that's just rotten news. We got our first booster in August, and 6 months later, we got our second booster. And now this, from Israel, seems to say that your boost is going to run out after a month or two. So now what? Every 2 months, you go in and get a booster shot? Fine with me, but will it be approved? I don't know. Maybe we need a different type of vaccine that includes these other Omicron variants. The study focused on adults 60 and older and did not provide data on the effectiveness of a second booster in younger populations. Me, younger, not by much, but maybe better. The findings, published on Tuesday in the New England Journal of Medicine, suggest that additional boosters are likely to provide fleeting protection against Omicron infections in older recipients, which is better than nothing. And it doesn't, there's no process in getting, you go get a shot and you're done, so who cares really? And are consistent with evidence that vaccine effectiveness against infection wanes faster than against severe disease. For confirmed infection, a fourth dose appeared to provide only short-term protection and a modest absolute benefit. The results come in the midst of a debate over whether and when Americans might need additional boosters. The FDA is convening a panel of outside advisors on Wednesday to discuss the broader U.S. booster strategy. The rapid spread of the highly transmissible Omicron variant, which can evade some of the body's immune defenses, has intensified the discussion of whether second boosters are broadly necessary. Last month, the FDA authorized second boosters of the Pfizer shot and Moderna for adults age 50 and older, as well as immunocompromised people 12 and older. The agency also authorized an mRNA booster for adults who have already received 2 doses of the J&J vaccine. It's likely to be a tough sell. While 66% of Americans have been vaccinated, 30%, only 30%, have received 1 booster. On January 2nd, Israel authorized a fourth dose of the Pfizer vaccine for adults 60 and older, and members of the other high-risk populations who had received their third shots at least 4 months earlier. Israel's vaccination campaign has relied heavily on the Pfizer vaccine. Protection against infection appeared to peak 4 weeks after the fourth shot. The rate of confirmed infections was twice as high in the 3-dose group as in the 4-dose group. By 8 weeks after the fourth shot, however, additional protection against infection had almost disappeared. Rates of severe disease were 3.5 times higher in the 3-dose group than the 4-dose group 4 weeks after the booster shot. That protection did not appear to wane and actually ticked up slightly by the 6th week after the shot, when rates of severe disease were 4.3 times higher in the 3-dose group. So, if it comes down to it, get a fourth shot. Because I'm telling you, if you're old and if you're young, you don't want this thing. Who would actively want it? And there are people, we have friends, who have not received 1 shot. And they're sick, overweight, immobile, hospitalized, leg problems. Perfect candidate for dying from COVID. Will not get the shot. Why? Fear of the after effects. And here is the official New England Journal of Medicine recitation of what I just read you. I put the link in chat for you if you want to click on it and read it later. So this is just the official technocratic version of what I just shared with you. Study design, oversight, statistical analyses. I mean, they get into it in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is good. You want that. You want to see charts. You want information. You want to be overloaded. That's what we're doing here. Conversation, discussion, supplementary information. The discussion, what I call the conclusion, is overall these analyses provided evidence for the effectiveness of a fourth vaccine dose against severe illness caused by Omicron variant, as compared with a third dose administered more than 4 months earlier. For confirmed infection, a fourth dose appeared to provide only short-term protection and a modest absolute benefit. Better than nothing, I say. Several reports have indicated that the protection against hospital admissions and conferred by a third dose given more than 3 months earlier is substantially lower against the Omicron variant than the protection of a third dose against hospital admission for illnesses caused by the Delta variant. In our study, a fourth dose appeared to increase the protection against severe illness, yes, relative to 3 doses that were administered more than 4 months earlier. Well, that's good. So we were 6 months out from our first booster, which was scary. I mean, we knew we were in a little bit of trouble because we got our first booster the day it was available. So now they're saying, okay, 4 months after your third booster, get your fourth booster. But now it looks like they're saying, oh boy, if you get a fourth booster, maybe you're going to need another booster in 2 months. I don't know. As I've said many times before, I'll take a vaccine a day. Give me a vaccine for something every week, I'll take it. Because vaccines are what save humanity, not ignorance and the bliss of being anti-science. And on that note, we're going to take our very first blood pressure break of the day. I will return to you momentarily. And we are back live. I'm David Bowles, and this is Bowles.tv. BOLES.tv. Thank you so much for being here. We are here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And I was checking on my chair. It looks like it's still out for delivery. The front desk is not responding to me. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to, I guess, call down there and see if someone will answer the phone so I can tell them I'm here and my delivery is coming. Nobody is responding to me right now, which is very dismaying. But that's life. So here's what's going on with our favorite topic of the day. Ethereum is down. Oh boy. Yesterday was about 3,500. Now it's down to 3,300. Which is still high because usually the average is about 3,000. So it's doing better than you would expect. But people who are trying to sell their art want the highest possible price, and people who want to buy the art want the lowest possible price. So it's a bit of an issue. 3 weeks ago it was 2,500, so it's made almost a $1,000 rebound, which is fabulously fascinating. And Bitcoin, also down just a bit. Used to be about 40,000 average, now it's 44,000, which is still very good. A couple of weeks ago it was 38, and then it was steady at 42 for a while. Now it's 44, pretty darn good. Not a bad thing. Gas fees when you're buying NFT art, reasonably priced at $22 per exchange. So if you buy something for $100, they're going to charge you a gas fee of $22 in order to deliver the NFT to you. And those gas fees in a year are supposed to go down to pennies with the rise of what some people are calling Ethereum 2, but it's not Ethereum 2, it's just an updated Ethereum. And now it's that time of day. Oh, yes. Hey, Chess. We love you, and we aren't leaving New You. So here we are. We're almost done with this chapter on rooks. And as you get closer to the end, the puzzles get much harder. And we know that, because yesterday we did a couple of puzzles, and we were just terrible. I think the first one we did pretty well. We got 100%. And then from then on, it just was downhill. I made several yellow moves, as you know, which means acceptable moves, but not the move they want you to make in the puzzle. And then you try to make another move, and it's another move that's yellow, which is another acceptable move, but they don't want you to make that move. Then you make the third move, which is wrong. So you don't get any credit for the yellow moves. That seems unfair. So here's our next puzzle. Solve this in 4 moves. We are playing white. And we want this to be just slightly bigger. Okay, so I'm white, I'm moving. My time is running out. Here is my queen. She's ready to attack. This is a rook. These are rook puzzles, so a rook is usually involved with something somewhere, sometime, as well as a bishop. And I'm running out of time, so I've got to make a decision. They love a queen sacrifice, and when I run out of time and I don't know what to do on my first move because I'm resizing the board, instead of trying to solve the puzzle, I guess I just have to resolve myself that I'm going to sacrifice the queen and see what happens. I'll do it. That was the right move, according to the Commissioner of Moves. Now it seems like a clear move to do this, to this, to that, and put the king in Checo. And where will the king go? Well, the king can't go there because my bishop is right here, pinning. He'll probably go there. And then, yes, then this rook will go down there. I believe that's the right answer. But who knows? I'm usually wrong with these puzzles. And sometimes it can be rather dismaying. But I will do my best to soldier on and continue the work of trying to beat the puzzle at its own game. Ah, I did not anticipate that move. That's very good. So it's a block. Now I got to figure out the right move. Mm-hmm. Which is probably another rook move, which is probably this to that, and then the king takes, and then what do I do? Move the bishop back? Make it a pawn exchange? Very tricky puzzle. Oh, I got to do something. I'm running out of time. This is not like chess.com where I can take all day. Nope, not the right move. They want a ladder. Fine. So now they make me make the right move, which is this rook here to there. And then they move, and then I move, and they move, and then I move, and then they move. So, to me, this is clearly a pawn take move. Yeah, I think that has to be it, because I'm thinking of moving this rook here and pinning this pawn, but then they just won't move the pawn. So I have to attack the pawn and move the pawn, because I don't want to take my rook for a pawn, because then the bishop will take my rook. So we'll get out easy. I'll try it. Oh, that's the end of the puzzle. So 75% accuracy. That's not bad for me. Yeah. Okay. Here's another one. A 3-mover. 3 moves, in and out. At your own risk, young man. Okay, so here we go. I'm not paying attention. Rook backs up the bishop. The queen is backing up the bishop. Very dangerous. And we have rooks in the first rank. Okay, very curious. Sometimes they make you move your knight up here to do little things and to move around and cause havoc. They really like it when the king is put in jeopardy, which is a knight move, but that doesn't get me anything. Except maybe making, no, it wouldn't even make the, I have to do something. No, that's not the right move. Okay, so they want me to go that way. Okay. I was running out of time, so I was trying to put the king in check with my knight, which I knew was a bad move because it doesn't threaten anything, and the rook would just take my knight. So they said, no, this is the right move. Move your bishop from there to here. Okay. Now they're going to make me move it. Learn my lesson. Aha, now that's interesting. A knight move. Now what's going on with that? What is threatening? Why? I guess that knight wants to go here and then put my king in check. I don't know. Or to put a blocker on my queen. Interesting stuff. So I think I'm tempted to just move my queen out of the way right now. And move my queen from here. Whoops. And move my queen from here to here. Setting up the next move, which I want to say would be Shazam. But that doesn't make sense either, does it? Maybe it does. I'm going to do it. Boom. Nope. Not the right move. Now, I don't understand that, really, because why can't the king just take that rook? And the king does. Okay. So now I go here, and I win the game. All right. I learned 3 new moves, and I got one of the moves right. Terrible. Painful, really. 3 more puzzles, and we finish this chapter. Do I dare? I just might dare. 7 moves. This is going to be a big one, boy. Oh, laddie. Oh, laddie. So there's my queen. There's my rook. Here's my other rook. I mean, my other bishop. And here's my other rook. Okay, so angles of yaw, angles of attack. Well, if it's me, I think it's this to here. The king will probably take. Then the queen goes there. So I better make it because I'm running out of time. Done. Okay, so that was the right move. Now what do we do? They really like it when you take an angle like that, but there's no defense. So I think it's this move over here, and then putting the king in check. Excuse me, and then the king's gonna have to move. This is almost like the same puzzle we just finished. Because I moved my queen over here. This bishop's gonna come right there, and it's the same puzzle. It's not the same puzzle, but it's unfolding like it's exactly the same puzzle. I will try. Okay, so now what? Now, last time they wanted me to lift my rook, but I don't think that's very interesting. I think it's a pawn move. I think it's here to here, pressuring the bishop. The bishop can't move because my queen. That's the move that I'm going to make. I don't know if it's right, but I'll try it. Nope, they want a queen sacrifice. I find the whole thing very weird. All right. Nope, not the right move. This is another rook lift. Fascinating. So I have to make the move, and then I guess I lifted it because they want it here to threaten the king. I'll try it. Okay. And do I take with the pawn? Or do I take with the rook? Or I really like this idea of moving on here, putting the king in check. The king has to move, and then I take the queen with my rook. I like that better. So, this is what I told you about when we started. Getting the yellow move, which means it's a fine move, but we don't want you to make that one. Make something else. So I guess the only other move I can think of making that would work is this rook taking this queen. And that was the right move according to them. And I guess now I make that move? And then puts the king in check. The king can't move on this line. The king can't move on this line because of the bishop And the king can't take the pawn because the bishop is going this way, protecting the pawn. So I guess that's the right answer. I will do. 7 moves. 71% right. Not bad for me for a 7 move. Click here for a program problem solution. I don't think I will. Now I'm playing black. So, this is the king we're targeting. This is my queen, my rook, my rook. Okay, that's a big gun right there. That's a bassoon. Ready to smash stuff. And I think it's a 3-move move. Now this, I just want to leave that right there because that protects this whole line. So, I think this has got to be a queen move, right? A queen move here. Here. Oh, I just messed it all up. A queen move to here. King's in check. Bishop takes. Take the bishop. Okay, it's going to get too complicated. I'm running out of time. I'll try. Okay, now I think rook takes bishop. Check. Then we're probably going to get this. Or this. And then what are you going to do, Lennox? And the time's a ticking. The moments are wasting. I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. Okay. I predicted one of the 2 things would happen, and it happened. Now what do we do? Is there a knight move to make? Nothing else. What if I take king takes, I go back down here, king takes, there, wow, that's just messy, that's ugly. So, maybe I want to go here, this way. It made the move for me. So now I have to make the move. Rook takes rook. King takes rook. Now what? Because you can't go here and put the king in check because the king will just take the rook. Doesn't make any sense. But if I move this here, it protects that there. So then I could move this there all the way down. Running out of time. I'll make the move, see what happens. Ooh! Now these are interesting puzzles when they end this way because it's not ending in a check. It's just ending in the next move that would be, I guess, checkmate, which is my rook. H8 to H1, which would be checkmate. But they don't let me make the move. Weird. That's why these puzzles are confusing, because I'm thinking I don't have enough moves to make the move they want me to make. Last puzzle in this chapter. 5 moves. We are playing white. It's a lot of moves. Okay, so queen is in peril here. My queen with this bishop, which means we have has to be some sort of attack. Yeah, so I think it's a queen sacrifice again. Gosh darn, they love the queen sacrifice, don't they? So I think I just got to do it. Yeah. And now I think it's, whoops, this to here. Not a knight move. Not a bishop move. I mean, it could be also a rank move with the rook, just to set that up. But if I take, it's okay, because it's not going to lose a rook. Okay, that was interesting. So, now if I go here to here, this knight will just go there and block. But I do sort of like, lining these up. And I'm running out of time, so I think I'm just going to move the rook. Yeah, okay. So block, 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 block. So far, we haven't missed anything. Doesn't mean anything, but so far we haven't missed anything. Now, it just feels like this is a move that needs to be made to give protection to that rook. But why? Because if the rook goes this way, the king will just take. But then we'll just move out. Okay, I think this is the right move. Uh-oh. The dreaded yellow box. It's the right move, but maybe in the wrong move order. Oh boy. Now I'm in big trouble. So I guess they want me to, they want me to take the knight with my rook, and then do this. Yay! Hard work pays off. You finished learning the whole chapter. Yay! My accuracy was 100%. That's a nice way to finish a chapter. So now we go back to the book. So all the chapters I finished so far. So my new chapter is Queen Sacrifices. The whole book has been about queen sacrifices. We just finished Death on the Rook's File, which was fun and interesting. So we have 92 of these to do. We're not going to do these now, but I just want to see what's in store. Queen Sacrifices. Cool. And see, they start so easy. 2 moves, and then you go all the way down to 92. Meow. And you're at 4 moves, and 2 moves, 5 moves, not too bad. Okay. Well, that was fun. We were victorious today, at least momentarily. And we're doing well and making things work. And now it's time for one more blood pressure break of the day. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Bowles. I tell you, first world problems just come at you all the time. I have been trying to communicate with front desk of this building since 8:50 this morning to let them know that a 76-pound delivery is coming, and anything over 50 pounds they will not sign for. So you have to go down there yourself and sign for it. And they always say, hey, just to make everything clear, make sure that you let the front desk know if you're expecting a heavy delivery, so we can call you or get in touch with you to let you know that the delivery is here. Okay, I've been trying to do that since 8:50 this morning. And the front desk is being non-responsive. So I finally called and said, hey, is the person that I'm SMSing who told me to SMS when I had deliveries, is that person working today? Oh, yeah. Because I just on the break, I said, hey, are you working today or not? Because sometimes that person's not working. And I send the message and they never respond until the day later. Oh, I wasn't working. So I thought, I don't want this chair going back. So I called downstairs. Oh, yeah, she's working. And I'm thinking, this was all her idea. Just SMS me, let me know what's going on. And she never responds. So I said, I'm expecting a blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, we'll let you know, we'll call you. Oh, who needs that? So we'll see if I get an emergency call from the front desk while we're doing the show. We can always hope. And now this is another big sigh moment of the day, for the day, of the day. The GOP and hardcore Republicans are going crazy. And I don't mind painting them with a broad brush, because no Republican is standing up to any of these, what we seem to call wackos, on the hard right, and all of their fantasies about liberals and Democrats. No one's saying this isn't right. No one's saying knock it off. And they will want to do it because they're all beholden to Donald Trump for some reason I don't understand. So the nuts of the party run the party. And it's becoming dangerous and derogatory and imperiling not just to liberals or to Democrats, but to the entire fabric and meaning of our Constitution. And, you know, how Putin is saying, oh, Ukraine, we have to go into Ukraine, we have to destroy Ukraine because they're harboring Nazis. They're run by Nazis. That is the authoritarian way of excusing bad, and in this case, murderous behavior. And then you have these GOP people, and all of them, because no one's saying, not me, now accusing liberals, Democrats, of being pedophiles, painting them with that broad brush. Nazis on one hand, pedophiles on the other. Well, if everybody's a Nazi, they deserve to be killed and shot in the head and hands bound behind their back. And if they're a pedophile, well, terrible things can and should happen to them. And, by the way, we're Republicans. We don't negotiate with pedophiles. That's where we are sort of now. So they can take the high road in their mind, saying, well, there's no reason to compromise on anything because we're compromising with pedophiles. And pedophiles deserve to be punished, killed, removed from society. And it's a very strange and weird thing. And it's the crazy voices in the GOP who are screaming that Democrats are pedophiles, and there's no one around the GOP stepping in to say that's not true. Let's don't talk like that. Let's behave in a proper way. And it's a very interesting way of dealing with it. And I'm telling you, we're not that far away from these right-wingers, these extreme right-wingers, from saying the next step. And the clue is what happened in Texas with the abortion law. Well, if you happen to give a woman a ride to an abortion clinic, you're guilty by association. Well, all these pedophiles and their friends, they're guilty by association. So the next step is maybe we need to get rid of them. Maybe we need to pick up a gun and take care of it ourselves. Stand your ground against all these pedophiles. Violence is coming. And I don't think it's going to be the liberals and the Democrats who are taking up the guns and pointing and shooting to kill people. They can't even stand up to this kind of ridiculousness. They just try to brush it off and continue on their lives, which is actually dangerous and imperiling. So here's what's happening, and we're just going to go bing, bing, bing through these headlines because they're all fresh from a couple of days. They're all incredible, and they set a pattern of expectation and behavior. From New York Magazine. Why Republicans are smearing everyone as pedophiles now. And this started in 2016 with the pizza thing, with the pedophiles in the basement. And some guy went in there and used a gun and shot people. So this is not new. They're into this. They get a thrill out of it. Not long ago, the notion that American politics was oriented around a dispute over the merits of child sexual exploitation was viewed as so loopy that not even Donald Trump could take it seriously. It is now becoming the Republican Party's most energetic idea. The two most prominent theaters of partisan combat of the moment, the Ketanji Brown Jackson confirmation and Florida's Don't Say Gay law, have both seen a growing swath of conservatives embrace charges of pedophilia as their central theme. 2 years ago, the pedophilia charge was confined almost entirely to QAnon, a sprawling web of far-right conspiracy theories that operated around the fringes of conservative politics. And while some of the details have been produced by its theories would find their way into the minds of Trump and his inner circle, especially with conspiracy theories centering on the stolen election, the broader narrative that American politics was a fight over pedophilia remained marginal. And here's a great explanation of why they're picking on Ketanji Brown. The pretext for injecting the theme into the Jackson hearings was that, as a judge, she supposedly failed to sentence child predators sufficiently punitively. This conveniently allowed Republicans to waft the allegation of pedophilia under the cover of questioning her tough-on-crime qualifications. In 4 days of hearings, Dana Milbank found, he's a reporter, the phrase child porn or pornography or pornographer were mentioned 165 times, along with 142 mentions of sex or related terms like sexual abuse or sex crimes. The pedophilia charge has worked in Florida in a way for DeSantis to smear his critics and demonstrate dominance to the right-wing base. The most fundamental lie at work is the conflation of sexual orientation and sex, a traditional way of smearing gay people by presenting them as child molesters. The bill bans teachers from discussing the former, say explaining to a class that a child might have two mothers or two fathers and why that is, while using the latter as its pretext. This is an excellent article. I'll put the link for you in chat right now. New York Magazine. Wish you could read it all, but we don't have time. One irony of this debate is that if Democrats wanted to turn the issue against the Republicans, they would have a much richer fact pattern available to them. Trump, still the party's effective leader, has been accused by 5 witnesses of walking in on undressed teenagers. The party's former Speaker of the House, Denny Hastert, engaged in horrific sexual abuse of minors. Representative Jim Jordan helped cover up a sex abuse scandal in college. More recently, Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore was credibly accused of sexually assaulting minors. What is true about the Republican Party is that some of its members are still willing to support fellow Republicans even after learning of their sexual exploitation of minors. After Moore was revealed to have preyed upon teenagers as an adult, the likes of Trump and the Federalist still urged Alabamans to vote for him in the Senate. One pro-Moore column in the Federalist headlined, "While Alabamians should vote for Roy Moore," including the uncomfortable rationale, "To have a large family, the wife must start having kids. She is young." So this is all on purpose. It's all a setup. It's all a pretext to what is coming. And what disturbs me is this is acceptable behavior and thought in the mainstream GOP. Here's more news. Oklahoma State House approves a bill to make performing an abortion illegal. So this is all part of this pedophilia scheme. Starting in Texas, starting with the trolls in the GOP making all these wild accusations, while several of them have been accused of sex crimes. And now Oklahoma, a deep red state, makes abortion illegal. Abortion right now is still legal in the United States. Not for long. But right now it's legal. So how does this pass? How does this get through? The Oklahoma House gave final legislative approval on Tuesday to a bill that would make performing an abortion a felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. With little discussion and no debate, the Republican-controlled House voted 70-14 to send the bill to the Republican Governor Kevin Stitt, who has previously said he'd sign any anti-abortion bill that comes on his desk. The Oklahoma bill, which was passed in the Senate last year, makes an exception only for an abortion performed to save the life of the mother, said GOP Senator Jim Olson, who sponsored the bill. Under the bill, a person convicted of performing an abortion would face up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Now, if it's a young girl, raped by her father, raped by an uncle, pedophilia, raped by a stranger, too bad. You have the baby. Not the baby's fault, they say. Life of the mother, not in danger. You carry your father's child. The thoughtlessness is just insane to me. The penalties are for the doctor, not for the woman. Similar anti-abortion bills approved by the Oklahoma legislature in recent years have been stopped by the courts as being unconstitutional. The Texas law that took effect last year bans abortion once cardiac activity is detected, usually around 6 weeks of pregnancy, without exceptions in the case of rape or incest. And usually incest doesn't begin with consenting children. It begins with young children who are underage, who cannot give consent. And so they are raped by their fathers, or mothers, I guess. Promoting pedophilia. Yes, you groomed your own daughter, got her pregnant when she was young and underage. And we support it here in Oklahoma. Because you can't get rid of the baby. Can't get rid of the evidence. The pedophilia is right there, supported by the Oklahoma legislature. Horn honking outside in case you hear that. And now, continuing on in the same strange thought loop, the GOP doesn't like Disney anymore. They want to punish Disney, take away their tax rights, take away their special status. The real reason Lauren Boebert wants to cancel Mickey Mouse. It's an interesting article in the Washington Post. Everyone is mocking Representative Lauren Boebert's buffoonish tweet about Mickey Mouse. She misspelled his name, by the way. She forgot the E in the first name. On Monday night, the Colorado Republican fired off an implicit threat at Disney, suggesting a GOP-controlled House will block efforts by woke Disney lobbyists to ask Congress to extend Mickey Mouse's trademark. And then she misspelled it, so who cares about that? But J.D. Vance, who is supposed to be his great writer, Hillbilly Elegy, and used to be sane, he was now gone insane. J.D. Vance recently sent out a similar tweet, railing that Disney has declared war on America's children. In retaliation, Vance argued, we should end copyright extensions and other government handouts that Disney enjoys. Boebert, Vance, and others are angry that Disney has come out against Florida's new law restricting classroom discussion of sexual orientation and gender identity. They are upset about a leaked video that showed a Disney executive talking about inserting pro-gay material into Disney content. Some have lobbed the vile charge of grooming at the Florida law's critics, Disney included. So these are culture wars that are going on. In their view, these government privileges themselves enable corporate wokeness. As Hammond points out, the deeper claim here is that precisely because Disney profits extensively from rents, such as long copyright protections or the government creation of a special district all its own, they are insulated from real-world market pressures and can be woke with impunity. In the right-wing populist imagination, this enabled Disney to oppose a law that most parents support and insert pro-gay material into content, while remaining insulated themselves from punishment at the hands of the market via, say, customer boycotts. So that's what Boebert is really up to in trying to cancel Mickey Mouse. Okay, weird. Disney gives a lot of money to Republicans in Florida. They should be careful. And now, going back to who's a pedophile and who's not, Tennessee Republicans push to abolish age limits on heterosexual marriages amidst groomer outrage. And this is just shocking. So who's the real pedophile? There's the whole thing about projection, that the people who are accusing other people of doing something are doing it themselves. Donald Trump made it famous. Anything that he accused someone else of doing, he was already doing or had already done. And that's the game plan. That's how the GOP works. We'll accuse. And as I said last week, as somebody said, their favorite phrase is, if you can't make me say I'm wrong, I win. A GOP-backed bill in Tennessee would eliminate any age requirements for marriage, a move the critics are calling hypocritical amid baseless Republican accusations that the LGBTQ+ community is attempting groom and sexualize schoolchildren. HB 233 gives Tennesseans an alternative form of marriage between individuals who have a conscientious objection to the current pathway. The GOP bill, first introduced in January, establishes a common law marriage between one man and one woman, but omits any age requirements for the union, an omission that Democrats have blasted. Now, it's true that are several states, used to be a lot of states, I don't know what it is now, where if you wanted to marry somebody and they were under the age of, let's say, 16, you had to go to the parents and get permission from the parents and then go to the court, and the parents have to give permission to marry off the daughter. And it was often done in the case of pregnancy, that the kids had had sex and they don't want the child to be born a bastard, so they get married, and under the eyes of the law and God, the child is legitimized. But this Tennessee bill doesn't seem to be about any of that. And you wonder why they're saying, oh, you could, marry an 11-year-old if you're a man, have a common law marriage. Why? What is the purpose? What are they trying to do? What are they seeking to try to have happen in Tennessee? It doesn't make any sense. And the disconnect is very disturbing, because they claim to be this on one hand, and they are the same thing they're accusing you of on the other hand. How can you say that this bill in Tennessee, which is a very hard red state led by Republicans, is not promoting pedophilia? More about the fever on the right side that is inexplicable and inexplainable in its explicitness. 63 Republicans vote against a resolution expressing support for NATO. Now, we know some of them have been paid off by Moscow. They all made a trip together on July 4th. There are names. Look it up. Putin, Republican senators, Republican congressmen, July 4th. The House overwhelmingly approved a resolution expressing support for NATO. NATO is in the middle of this Ukraine-Russia crisis because there are NATO states that are in jeopardy, even though Ukraine is not part of NATO. The resolution passed 362 to 63, with support from 143 Republicans and 219 Democrats. 63 members of the GOP caucus voted against the measure. Absolutely insane and vile. Citing the threat posed by authoritarian regimes, as well as internal threats from proponents of illiberalism, the resolution calls on the Biden administration to uphold NATO's founding democratic principles. It also advocates the creation of a Center for Democratic Resilience within NATO's headquarters in Brussels, with the center providing member states assistance to strengthen their own democratic institutions. Republicans who voted against Tuesday's resolution included most of Trump's most loyal defenders in Congress. Lauren Boebert, Madison Cawthorn, Matt Gaetz, Paul Gosar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Jim Jordan. Now that is a mask of uncomfortable, nasty people. And if you support them and you like them, it reflects back on you. And the disturbing part is these people don't care. So our friend Kevin Drum, Cal Pundit, writes yesterday, pedophiles are the new socialists. It's bad enough that half of all Republicans think Democratic leaders run child sex trafficking rings, but 21% of Democrats think so too. So why are they still Democrats? In any case, thanks, conservative media. It's good you're still on your job as always. Yeah, always. Poisoning the minds of people who don't know any better. And that's really what it means. And here's the chart that Kevin loves charts, makes good charts. Nearly half of Republicans say they believe top Democrats are involved in elite child sex trafficking rings. And that comes from U.gov. YouGov America. It's just so bizarre to wrap your head around it. I mean, there are always wackos around, on both sides, everywhere. You don't need to be politically aligned to be a wacko. But the fact that it gets traction and adherence and mainstream publication as being truthful and factual by Fox News is just outrageous. And you wonder, what is Fox News' angle on this? Why do they want to remove democracy in America? Why do they want an authoritarian government? Because they want to become the official mouthpiece of the government? Silence all critics? Throw all journalists in jail? It's such a bizarre and strange and uncomfortable fellowship. A fellowship of evil is what I'm calling it. And what does that say about our current status in America? As Democrats, Republicans, liberals, when you have one side always pointing, chanting, making noise, aiming guns, making accusations of pedophilia, when many in their own party are being processed legally for pedophilic actions and sexual iterations. And then the disconnect between Tennessee saying you can marry a young child at any age you want. Oklahoma saying, yes, marry. But you're not going to get rid of that baby you create. The proof of the pedophilia is in the birthing. And it makes one wonder, where are we going as a nation? Because you feel that violence is just getting ready to bubble over. For 10 years, the far-right radical wing has had this sort of intention of painting liberals and Democrats as dangers to society, and they are in need of removal by any means necessary. And do you think that means shooting them, putting them in jail, sending them to Mexico, putting them in a gulag? I think they would like that, because that sort of behavior that they admire in authoritarians in other countries is what they want here. They don't want conversation. They don't want discussion. They want people who will follow orders. They want people who will not disagree or talk back or fight back. They just want you to sit over there in the corner and obey and marry children and have no abortions. And if you disagree with them, then you need to be dealt with. And severely, you need to be punished. You need to be put in your place. You need to be told what is right and what is wrong by these people who believe that only they know what is right. And it's a concern for our democracy, because they're not interested in talking to these pedophiles. Because like the Russians say about the Nazis that are not there in Ukraine, you can't negotiate with them. You just have to go and blow them up. Well, that seems to be where we're going in America. Well, you can't talk to the pedophiles. That validates them. We just have to remove them. And we know who they are. We know where they hide. They're in the basements of pizza parlors, in a cabal owned and run by Hillary Clinton, they say. And it's going to end in madness and bloodshed. And I don't know how we get out of it. It's going to take the GOP healing themselves to get out of it, because the Democrats can't do anything about it. Liberals can't do anything about it. People who are unaligned can't do anything about it. You have these strange hotheads looking for a fight, hoping to spill blood in the name of freedom and resurrection. Well, we've had a very interesting and fascinating conversation today. I thank you so much for being here. I'm David Bowles, and this has been Bowles.tv, live streaming to you every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. If you have a question or comment, hey, email me, david@Bowles.tv. On Facebook, regular old BOLES is the business page. On Instagram, we are Bowles Books. On TikTok, we are Bowles TV. And if you would like to join our Discord server, we have it all set up now and running well. You can join us there. We have chats about NFTs, about this show. If you want access to our text channel for this show and our voice channel for this show so you can join in, just find me, send me a note there, or on Twitter, I'm @DavidBowles on Twitter. You can super follow there as well. Let me know who you are and what you're doing here, and we'll get you in. So until tomorrow, I wish you a wonderful day, a happy nap, a good sleep, and a wonderful rest of your nights and days to come. And when you awaken, whenever that is, my hope for you is that your soul will be filled with joy and everlasting happiness. There's always hope. We just have to find it and push it forward. I will see you